challenge is you go back and try it with your husband, with your wife, with your children. You go try it, right? Okay, thinking about it, you feel uncomfortable also. Why? Right? Why? Some of you will feel very comfortable. Why? So, we grow up with expectations. Expectation is fine, right? But if you cannot communicate each other's expectation, is a challenge. The other one is, the reason we want to go through this exercise is, we want to see if you are listening to the person. You're not listening to the words, right? I think today you all did very, very well. You must give yourself a good clap. We have situations where, when we did this exercise with some groups, the person never listened. One person saying, "Sky is blue today." Yes, sky is blue today. Yes. You're not listening, right? So, and very often, if you reflect, it may happen in our own life at all. People talk, yeah, of course, yeah, yes, you know. So these are simple exercises. The third point I want to share is non-verbal communication. Right? Do we spend enough time to look at each other? This is the first lesson we learned from yesterday's talk I shared with you. This American homeschooling family, we met for the very first time. Right? We don't know what is homeschooling. We met the first people we met were homeschoolers. It's American family. Okay, for the sake of those who didn't come yesterday, they stayed with us for a few days, was it a week? Quite long, right? And every time before eating, before meals, they sit around the table. Before meals, they have few seconds of silence. All they do is, they don't just look at it. They actually then only they start eating. You know? And I felt that was really interesting. It was very awkward at first because he was looking at me. Then after a few days, right? So it's very interesting eye opener for us. Non-communication. Sometimes you don't even have to talk. You just have to. You know? If people look at you in a very nice way long enough, you feel very comfortable. You know, right? Someone is noticing you. You're having you have attention. Right? So these are the few pointers. Hope you pick up during the exercise. Right? Now the rest of the session now, I'll pass to Mylene. She'll turn to talk. Right? She'll talk about these key points and you go into deep a little bit. Right? So during this session, it will be interactive. So we'll share our experience. You can stop us at any time and ask questions. So during this, the rest of the whole day, let's try to be as interactive as possible. Right? So communication. Okay? Got it? So can I pass to Webin now? Or you ask any questions for me? No questions? Okay. So Webin, you will take over the mic. Thank you.
Thank you. You don't mind if I sit? Still have a little bit slight effect from coffee, which I'm not supposed to take, but because of desire. And I was going to talk about the music. Has it stopped?
You want to play something?
No, I like it to be stopped because it's very nice, but it's my favorite musician, David Lance. I get distracted. So, silent already, right? Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So nice to see you. We all grow up in our individual families, and we learn our first contact with our parents, right? And I feel that maybe because we are Asians, Asian culture somehow have this distance when parents and child is concerned. It's just a observation compared to when we observe Western culture. It's very expressive and very a lot of contact, which is lacking in Asian culture. So I grew up with parents who are with a Chinese education background and very Chinese as in we are parents, you are children. So there is not much communication. I wonder if you have a similar background. Parents don't really talk to you unless you're naughty. You did something wrong. Okay. Then they'll give you a lot of attention. Anyone have had that? Oh, you're so lucky. Only 15 minutes? Oh my gosh. So anyway, so I couldn't learn communication from my parents. And they were not very demonstrative. You know what's demonstrative? Hugging, touching, kissing. No. Okay? Because they are from their generation, their parents didn't do that with them. So they feel they don't know how to do it with us. I never realized the absence of this until I watched my cousin's family. When I went to Hong Kong, I think I was like in my late teens after my Form 5. And I noticed their family was so demonstrative and they're so happy, and the parents and children joke with each other because my parents are very serious. One school teacher and one nurse combined. My gosh! So I was a very serious child. You know, we were all very serious. Except for my youngest brother, you know, always a rebel. The youngest is always the rebel, and he will rebel and he'll get the most punishment. So anyway, so that's a reflection of my childhood. And when I observe later how other families interact with each other, then I say, okay, there's definitely something lacking in my family. But you can get past that. And I tell myself, with my own children, I'm going to do it differently. Because as I grew up, I had a lot of pent up emotions. Everything is kept inside, you know. So I used to cry a lot, very easily. But I cannot express it out. But I write. That's how I can write now. So anyway, I'd like you to reflect on that. That you can start differently. Don't copy your parents. Copy the good things, but not the not so good things. And I feel that it's very important. Communication that you've learned today. Yeah. Verbal and non-verbal. Did you put it up there? Thank you, darling. Now, you may have, if you have a few children in your house, you will notice that some children are naturally more verbal. That means they talk and talk and talk and talk. And then there's some who keep not so verbal. So you have to know how to handle different types of children. But there's some common practice you can do when they talk. Like just now, the eye contact. It's very important that you look at them, you know, when they're talking, and look them in the eye. And okay, let's deal with, shall we deal with verbal or non-verbal first? Okay, non-verbal first, okay? I think looking at each other is something we don't normally do. Okay? So for families who are talking too much, this is a very good exercise for you. So there'll be time when you just say, okay, you don't talk. Like when you wake up in the morning, I still do that, with my children. I look at them. They say, "Mommy, why are you looking at me? You're so beautiful." So I just look and smile. Looking and smiling. And they can receive your love like that. Right, darling? Yes. Afterwards, I will take you as a guinea pig again. Demonstrate how you do it. Okay? So, just looking and smiling. That's all. You can spend like 5 minutes doing that. It's amazing. And you can see how they respond to you. Sometimes they feel, "Mommy, don't look at me like that lah. I feel uncomfortable." I said, "It's okay. I want to remember you. I want to appreciate you." And you not necessarily stare 5 minutes without talking lah, but smile, and then say, "I love you." I say, "I love you" a lot. You're beautiful. So say all these things. And then they will feel that it's something natural. They won't feel in after, some time. They feel that it's something natural, and they feel it inside. It's very important. Okay? So, how many of you do that? Oh, good. You can do it with any child, any age, even with your spouse. And maybe we don't do that enough, huh?
You always complain about enough.
It's a tremendous boost, like a magnet like that. So it can really improve your relationship without having to talk. Okay? Very good one. Try it out. And through the exercise just now, right? When you look at each other, so try to feel the energy. Okay? And then the other one is verbal. Okay, verbal, how do you manage so many scenarios that could happen? The first thing is listen. We need to learn the art of listening. And listen with empathy, not just there, but in here, out there. You try to feel what your child is trying to communicate to you. Nod, smile, and then you could ask questions. So, encourage them to express themselves, right? So sometimes they may feel very upset about something. So just sit them down and let them express their frustrations. Instead of throwing things, throwing tantrums, it comes naturally to some children. We settle them down and let them express. Don't I go to the next level? No? Okay. So the first level is let them ventilate. Ventilate is just a frustration. And say, okay, this is how you feel, and don't judge. Don't say you should not do this. You should have done this. No. Let them ventilate and express. And most often, after they get all the energy out, they're already settled down, calmed down already. Yeah? So that is some basic. So coming back to just now, the positive looking without talking much, but the other one is very verbal, show a lot of, give a lot of positive feedback to them. I love you no matter what. You know, every day tell them something positive, and it will go in. That's how our children all very super positive. From young, ingrained inside. So that is cultivating this positive, I want to achieve mindset. Starting with a simple gesture like that. Okay. Okay, now I'll let you 5 more minutes. Any questions about this? No questions? Any sharing so far?
Easy, yeah? Stop, yeah?
I have one question.
Yes.
And this song, because like usually in the morning, I will actually be like with my son to take a van to school. So I will take like a few minutes staring at them. I stared at him, and he asked me why. I said, no, I see you have no pimple today. You look handsome today. I said, but can I just kiss you? Because my son is 1 years old. And I said, no, mommy, my face will be oily. So he's very mind about his appearance. So sometimes he want to do like, he have to care about what he thinks. Right, so maybe I can change my way of like the love, showing my love this kindly. And it depends on like how your children's characteristic. Sorry, you stare, they have no feeling at all. I tell you, they have no feeling. And you have to put more effort on that. It's just like you, if you look stare at him, you'll say what's so wrong, stupid, and you'll say, Kion says that you are very kind. It's very kind. It's just matter of like sometimes it's like you have to be control your emotions. It's like maybe I need to do some more practice. I'd like to do it when in the morning is time.
When did you start with your, how old is the child again?
My son is 15.
15.
Yeah.
And when did you start doing this?
Because I realized that he's very mind about his appearance. So I just telling that I quite support him on the picture I buy because he just like so care about pimples. He said, Mommy, you see today I got so many pimples today. I said, yeah, but just put some marks there, you know. Then you still handsome. Then he said he's violates his school discipline. He actually cut is very stylish. I said, fine, you can do it, but make sure you know what's the furniture and that. I still praise on it. He's like his outlook, but I still tease him say, among the 3 of you, my son, you are not the most, you are the ugly one. But I know you know how to take care of yourself. But then it still looks great. Yeah, but the thing is like the staring on in more seconds itself is very difficult. It's like you have to invest time to time and how you actually stare with love. Sometimes you will get emotional also when actually in the morning itself, like you also deficit your anger, like what will happen on yesterday night, you know, because you've not been obeying me, you keep on like not respecting me. So you have that, but how you do is like sometimes you may do that, sometimes I keep silent, I just walk away. I talk to my neighbor, it's today, what, blah, 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 blah. I just can't stand it. It's true. Because sometimes it's like, I'm not perfect. So I just like, I know I can do it, I stare at you. If I can't, I just talk to my neighbor, that's all.
Yes. If you're not in a frame of mind, but it's an opportunity to talk, to express how you feel, and your child has the opportunity to express how he feels. At 15, yes, I have two teenagers I know very well, and also we went through ourselves. Our appearance is like so important because you're so scared of what people think about you. So we need to reinforce it. Is you're going through what most teenagers go through because of hormonal changes. Excuse me. Explain that in a scientific way, why, what's going on biologically, and that is natural, but it will pass. So things like that. But we emphasize on what's the beauty in the heart. I know you're a very beautiful person, and what's inside you, that's what counts. Keep on reaffirming that. Of course, they might, sure, yeah, but it's important that they hear it from you. And just now you mentioned is about not obeying you. If we change the way we think. I used to get very frustrated with my daughter because I think like that. She purposely made me angry, purpose one. And she knows this will make me very angry, so I'm more angry lah. But once I change the outlook of, no, she doesn't purposely want to do this, but because this is her frustration, she don't know how else to express it. So just let her express it, and then we empathize with how she feels. I know you feel very upset about this. Let's talk about it. Then your mind switch, and you don't take it everything personally. Everything is personal. No. If you do it like that, more calmly, you won't get so frustrated, and you'll be more useful in helping your child.
Actually, it's not a question or anything. I just add to it. I drive my kids to school also, so this is just a sharing. So maybe it takes about 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So the quality time is verbal. So we talk to my kids, going to school. Okay, nothing concerning marks, anything, something joyful. So we keep the talking every day. So you will find, well, they might open up to you to tell you some story. Yeah. So I think for the working moms and dads, there's a trick they can practice every day. It's in the car. So it's a quality time that you can spend with your kids. Yeah. So I think that's my experience.
Also you have sons, right?
I have 2 sons and 3 daughters. I have kids.
Okay, you can learn a lot from him.
For that, another thing, just to add on the emotion thing, right? So I think emotion is just like a wildfire. It can spread. Okay, I'll just make an example. You wake up in the morning, and then maybe your wife in the morning getting you feel uneasy, right? So it's like a fire spark in you, right? So you don't keep make it spread to your kids or any whoever. So if you can control your emotion, right? Just like what they say, just cut it off, don't spray, or otherwise you keep coming back the whole day. Yeah, if you're intimidated, right? You get angry at your son or kids, and then at the end of the day you come back, and then you get angry at your mom. At the end of the day, your wife will get back to you again. So this is just like a vicious cycle. So if you are like a bit mentally developed, like to cut it, so you don't let the fire spread.
Yeah.
So you will get a happy day every day.
So
that's my experience.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So what is this? Put a stop to it. Don't let it bigger. Okay? You can. by not reacting to the emotions. Okay? Very good strategy. So if you tell yourself, I shall not react to this, I shall not react to this, you know, then your mind will stop. But if you don't, then you react. Both also cry, both also, you know, angry. The one thing about boys is it's better to have the father to make the connection as well, because sometimes boys actually tend to, at that very age. So with my son, I encourage him to spend time with the father, and then he'll wait sometimes for daddy to come back so that they can shower together. After a certain age, say, okay, mommy cannot shower with you already. Do it with your daddy. So it's a very good bonding, okay? Boys and men, and he enjoys it very much. So it's actually very boosting to the self-esteem.
Boys, men, and toys. Three things, right? Time's up. I think we can have a longer break. Just want to leave this session with a thought. Whatever communication we do with our kids, the question is, do we understand how they feel? That's the question. Do you understand how they feel at the end of the day? Right. I think that's most important. We can talk.
You may not agree
Yeah.
with how they feel, but you don't get into your judgmental mode. Just understand it. I understand.
Okay, that's
Just to add on to the male and male bonding, right? Okay, I travel with my kids. So sometimes they will just ask, hey daddy, I want to rub a bag. It's okay. Just rub a bag, shows that he appreciate you. Let him do it. This is a non-goal. Touching this.
We'll talk about touching. Yeah, touching as well, right? Okay. So I leave it with that thought. Thank you very much for your question and comment. We take a break of how long? 15 minutes. When you hear the giant gong, you come back. I really love my iPhone, my giant gong. Okay. So take a 15-minute break. We come back and we sit in the group again. We continue this discussion. Have more questions afterwards. Okay. Thank you.